Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the news that just came out that, Ozark Season 3 finally has a release date. Netflix released a announcement video on YouTube. Obviously, it's like a couple seconds long, but if you're curious about seeing it, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. Obviously, I haven't looked into it too much because I kind of don't want to know what information might be out there about Season 3, but obviously, I wanted to take this time to just kind of share my thoughts about what we might, kind of see in Season 3. I don't know whether I'm going to make this a thoughts and theories or make this a nerd mode broken down. Doesn't matter. That's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that comes down to, me in the long run. But obviously, I just want, like I said, share some thoughts about, what I think is going to be interesting. Because obviously, what we saw in the announcement video is like, a deck of cards and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, so obviously, last season, the casino got built and everything, the river casino got built and everything. So obviously, that's going to be a big thing going forward, like making sure that stays in place. Because obviously, if things kind of don't go well, like obviously, it getting built is one thing, but if it doesn't continue to be sustainable, obviously, the cartel isn't going to be too happy about that. But, Marty finished his side of the deal, so he's kind of a little clear of it. But what's going to be interesting, though, is because Wendy is, like, even though she was the one the most kind of adverse to this whole, like, cartel situation, she's the one that's become the most acclimated to it. Because obviously last season we definitely, talked about, we got to really witness Wendy's dark side. I even made a whole video talking about that. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that. Like, obviously, like, there's comparisons people make to Breaking Bad. I feel like Wendy's definitely in her Walter White bag right now. So I think that's going to be an interesting element going forward. But I'm curious to see what that means going forward with the casino and everything. Like, because especially for her and Marty's relationship, because it seemed like Marty was, she's like, I love you. And it seemed like he was nervous finding, because he knows, like, wow, you kill Ruth's dad. You literally put a hit out on a dude. But now it's like, he's like, I love you too, because it's about keeping his family together. But it's like, yeah, because, we definitely learned, like I said, we learned a lot about Wendy last season, that she definitely has that dark side. So now Marty's realizing, like, Wendy's not the person I thought she was. It's almost like I said, and I've talked about this, it almost feels like Wendy found herself in these circumstances. So it's going to be interesting to see what that means going forward, for the kids, Charlotte and Jonah, especially when you consider the fact is, it's like, well, like Ruth's family, like what the relationship is going to be like with Marty in it. Because obviously, like, Marty was setting everything up so that Ruth would take over the operations, but now that's kind of falling through. So it's like, I guess Marty's still going to let her take over the operations. It's like, that's kind of your baby. The cartel, I did my job, so the cartel's going to be fine with that. But maybe me still being here in the Ozarks might make them more inclined to be like, oh, Marty, we got more stuff to do for you. Hell, Wendy might be putting him more back in that position of like, no, like, this is where we are. We should be, it's like we're in a powerful position. We're in a good position. So why not take advantage of the good graces that we have with the cartel and stuff like that? Kind of make a killing at this. This is our thing. This is one of the, what's going to keep our family together type of situation. So I'm curious, because Helen was going to leave at the end of the season. She was leaving after everything kind of got set up, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's like, are we going to see more of her next season? Is it going to be someone else, kind of being the middle manager between the cartel and the Bird family? We'll kind of have to see. Obviously, there's the whole Agent Petty situation. Obviously, it was Ruth's dad that killed him, but I'm curious because obviously the whole thing was like, it got revealed that like Petty's vehicle was found, so now it's going to be the thing of like, okay, found out that he was killed. Granted, it was by Ruth's dad, but obviously I'm sure Trevor, who obviously had feelings for Petty, that was a whole very complicated relationship, he's going to be adamant about like, all right, I'm gonna track these people down. I know the Birds had something to do with it because he was investigating them and everything, so I'm curious. I wonder, is Rachel going to come back? I doubt it, but you never know with this type of situation, especially everything she was kind of going through. I mean, Petty's kind of going, so there's no dragging her back in that means, but, especially because it, she, despite everything, her and the Birds kind of ended off positive, at least, her and Marty, so. Then there's a whole Darlene situation, because obviously Darlene's got Mason's kid, because it's like, oh, after she killed her husband, and it's like, oh, I need something, it's like, oh, I can look after this baby, that was a whole deal to kind of get Darlene to sign off on her land rights and everything. But obviously with the position that, Wendy has taken last season, it's like, okay, since we're dealing with dark side Wendy, it's most likely a fact is that she's probably going to like you know, she made it clear, like, oh, we're going to get that baby back. So what that situation is going to look like, we might see Wendy kind of go, you know, Darlene might underestimate Wendy, but Wendy might kind of concoct some stuff where she can, either she's going to straight up kill Darlene, or maybe she's going to find some way to get the child back. I don't know. We'll see. I'm also curious to see what ends up happening. Well, because I brought it up earlier, but kind of like finishing a thought was like what Charlotte's going to do with, what's Ruth's cousin's name? I'm blanking on it now. The one that she kind of has feelings for, like they have a bit of a relationship. It's like, well, what is that going to look like? Because obviously it was a whole thing where it's like, oh, your dad killed my dad. But then Ruth revealed, like, no, I'm the one that killed your dad, my uncle. So that's, well, uncles. So that's why I'm kind of like, now knowing that Wendy might have killed his uncle, like, you know, what does that mean? I mean, like I said, what does that mean going forward, like between Ruth and the family? Because it's like, well, no matter how much of a D-bag he was, and he was a D-bag, Ruth recognized him to be the D-bag that he was because of the way he manipulated and pushed her. It was a whole, their whole complicated relationship themselves. That was still her dad. So Wendy justifies it by being like, oh, he was a bad guy. I did this for us. I did it for Ruth. We'll see, because, you know, the whole thing is he got his money, but he eventually would have come back asking for more. So it's like, this is how we handle things, kind of very cartel like, put out hits and get rid of the people we don't like type of situation. Once again, showing how scary Wendy can be. But I'm curious what kind of effect that's gonna have. But also Jonah, we saw bits and pieces of it, but obviously he lost his best friend last season, you know, Buddy. So it's like, is there going to be more of that this season, us seeing Jonah kind of stepping up even more, and just what that means in the grand scheme of things for him? Is he going to have a new best friend? I'm also curious, is any of Buddy's past going to come in? Because, like, we got bits and pieces of his past that have come up so far in the show, so I'm wondering, is any of that going to come back to basically haunt the birds? It's like, oh, people finding out, oh, Buddy's dead. Oh, I'm an old pal of Buddy, and that turns into problems for the birds. That's kind of where my mind is. So, like I said, these are just some things that are kind of floating through my mind. I think some of this stuff I know I brought up when I was reviewing the second season, some thoughts for a potential third season and stuff like that. So, you know, let me know your thoughts. What are some things you're kind of looking forward for season 3? What are some things you want to see? What are some things you expect to see? We won't really get a good picture of what season 3 is like until we get our first trailer, which that's probably not going to come out until like early to mid-March. So, but really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good